The Buffalo Bills not only cut down to a 53-man roster, we end up signing Mike White, who has spent time with the Miami Dolphins and New York Jets, as well as punt returner, kick returner Brandon Codrington, who's going to come in here to help out this squad. And here you can clearly see the kick return by our new kick returner, punt returner, Brandon Codrington. Look at him read this. Look at him, his speed. I know a lot of people, Deontay Hardy was going to present this to the Buffalo Bills, but I think we found our answer here with Mr. B Steel 80. PFF breaks this down further by stating that Brandon Codrington actually had 15 forced missed tackles on 8 kick returns this preseason. This to me proves how fast, how shifty, how quick, agile he is, and the Buffalo Bills definitely see him as a valuable piece for this 2024 season. Here's the official release list for the Buffalo Bills, which I briefly want to glance over, and just some surprise names here. Eli Inku, contributing with the Buffalo Bills in the past, was released, could ultimately come back. Also, another player here that has contributed in the past is Kingsley Jonathan. I think that was a surprise for me too. I think Kingsley Jonathan has contributed here and has done well, but the Buffalo Bills have found other answers and other players that they want to hold on to for this upcoming season. Another player that I was surprised with was Lyle Collins, clearly getting up in age. I thought he was going to be that depth piece on this offensive line, which I think you're going to find something extremely interesting once we dive into it, as well as our guy here, Frank Gore Jr., one of the highest rated rookies in this preseason. I thought the Bills might have kept him ahead of Darrington Evans, but they choose to put Darrington Evans on IR and released Frank Gore Jr. Before getting into the actual depth chart for the Buffalo Bills, I wanted to discuss the players that were recently added to this squad. First of all, Mike White, spending time with the New York Jets in 2021 and 2022, and then most recently in 2023, last year with the Miami Dolphins. Now, I've been saying it, Mike White, a quarterback, probably having one of the best understandings of an offense, being that he's a quarterback. He's going to know the New York Jets and their offense. He's going to know the Miami Dolphins and their offense. And I was always impressed with Mike White. He's a little bit bigger. He's got a stronger arm. I think he resembles Josh Allen a little bit in his style of play. But I think he's going to come here to the Buffalo Bills, really help out, and really help us prepare for the New York Jets and Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills execute an AFC East trade with Brandon Codrington, a punt returner, kick returner who completely balled out this preseason, was undrafted, but ended up on the New York Jets. Per Ian Rappaport, the Bills executed a trade, getting Brandon Codrington for a swap of late 2026 round picks. Just some stats and more information on Brandon Codrington is that he is a punt returner, kick returner, but primarily played most of his snaps at slot cornerback. And I know Hardy was another surprise cut by the Buffalo Bills. Codrington can definitely come in here, be another added depth piece at that slot position. Taron Johnson, Cam Lewis, Brandon Codrington also helping out in punt returns, kick returns. He's only 5'9", but really excelled at that throughout college. You can see that he took 76 defensive snaps throughout the preseason, 71 of which were at the slot cornerback. He returned 2 kicks for a total of 71 yards and 6 punts for a total of 89 yards throughout this preseason, actually breaking off a 63-yard kick return in New York Jets preseason game against the Panthers. Now let's decipher the Buffalo Bills depth chart and what this ultimately means for the 2024 Buffalo Bills. And at first glance here, I want you to pay attention to this offensive line. Look at all the different offensive linemen that we have, keeping 5 tackles on this team. Deion Dawkins, Ryan Van DeMark, Tillon Gramble, also Travis Clayton and Spencer Brown. This is proving to me that Joe Brady is going to be sticking with the run. I think in years past, we've kind of had a swing tackle, be that depth piece at right tackle, be that depth piece at left tackle. But for whatever reason, Joe Brady has found a priority of keeping an extra offensive lineman on this team and a tackle. And I think we're going to see a lot of base base packages from Joe Brady really trying to establish the run. And this goes back to Zach Davidson, who is more of a receiving threat tight end when comparing him to Quentin Morris, who the Bills opted to keep ahead of Zach Davidson. And this further reiterates the point that Joe Brady is going to stay committed to running the football in 2024. On a side note here, we could see that Keon Coleman is actually backing up Mac Hollins. You can even see Marquez Valdes-Scantling is listed to be backing up Curtis Samuel, but we all know in Joe Brady's offense, the mix and rotation that everyone is going to eat in this offense, I think we're going to definitely see different plays, different packages, using a mixture of different players, similar to what we did with Gabe Davis and Emmanuel Sanders. And when Gabe Davis was a rookie, I'm expecting the rotation to occur with Keon Coleman and Mac Hollins and MVS, rotating these guys in and out. Now, some additional surprises here is really Javon Solomon beating out Jonathan Kingsley. We could see Dwayne Carter actually beating out Deshaun Williams, who the Bills were thinking about keeping, obviously being a veteran, but Dwayne Carter, a rookie, beating him out, backing up Ed Oliver, Austin Johnson, also the other D tackle there, backing up Daquan Jones. And on the edge position, clearly moving away from Kingsley Jonathan, the Bills opt to keep Dwayne Smoot, which I think was kind of known, but also Casey Toohill, the Bills end up keeping. We could see Casey Toohill at 6'5", 254 pounds, attended college, but spent majority of his career with the Washington Commanders and also Rivera. Ron Rivera obviously working alongside Sean McDermott with the Carolina Panthers, and I think Sean McDermott trusts Ron Rivera and his toolage of getting a guy like Casey Toohill up to speed, and clearly having 5 sacks last season for the Commanders, the most that he's ever had in his career. I think Casey Toohill is going to be a sneaky defensive end for Bills Mafia. This video would not be complete if we didn't talk about our guy, Mr. Buffalo Joe, making this team here, and we could see he's actually lined up at the will linebacker, backing up Matt Milano and Dorian Williams. We did end up keeping a Defuan Aluasfuo, and I think this is definitely huge for the Buffalo Bills, especially with the changes at kick return, punt return. A lot of teams opted to keep an extra linebacker on this team. This could very well be the reason why the Buffalo Bills decided to keep and hold on to Buffalo Joe, which is absolutely huge. I'm loving this team. I think the Bills did it. Another thing to eye up here is the safety spot. Taylor Rapp clearly going to be the starter for Bills Mafia. Cam Lewis backing up Taylor Rapp at that strong safety role, which I thought was interesting. Cam Lewis isn't necessarily the biggest, but I would say a very, very hard hitter and very aggressive against the run. So I see it. Damar Hamlin looks like the starter at the other safety spot, the free safety spot. Cole Bishop is backing him up along with Mike Edwards, who sustained that injury, who has a lot of experience and who could ultimately compete for this position throughout the season and could ultimately end up becoming our starter. Brandon Beane did it again, making the most out of this team and the financial resources that we have. I think the Buffalo Bills are primed for success for this upcoming season. Had to make some hard decisions, and I think there's a lot of these players that are out there that could eventually come back to the Bills. I mean, all the wide receivers like Justin Shorter, Andy Isabella, KJ Hamler, we had to move on from a lot of these players, and I think there's a great chance that they do end up coming back. I know Frank Gore Jr. is probably going to get a lot of interest from other teams. Maybe he ultimately comes back too. But I agree with every single move that the Buffalo Bills made here, and I love what we are doing. Transitional year, I don't care. Bills are going to be a much better team here in 2024. Appreciate you guys all so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe for future content. Also, check the link down below in the description for the BNC chicken wing merch. We have sizes small through 5XL, black, blue, red, gray, whatever color you want, even a Zumba style too. So check the link down there. You guys go get free shipping. Appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.